Star Wars was a big influence on me. Came out in '77. I was born in '66. So I was right at the right age for that thing to hit. And I remember seeing, I don't even remember seeing a commercial. I remember seeing like a picture in the newspaper, like the New York Post or something, about the movie. And it was after it was out already, and it was like, this looks pretty cool. And I saw the picture of like Chewbacca and Han Solo, and whatever the headline was, I was intrigued.
For me, it became, wow, you know, it was beyond being groundbreaking, Star Wars was. It was, in its own way, like a crack into some sort of other universe that I hadn't been exposed to, you know?
There are such universal themes in the Star Wars stories, and ironically, I think people feel that despite being fantasy, science fiction, it reflects the world we actually live in its inclusiveness and diversity and conflict and themes of good against evil. I remember getting a call from my agent saying that Jon Favreau wants to meet you regarding a Star Wars project. And so I immediately said, you know, when and where. I wanted to meet Jon Favreau. I didn't care what he wanted me to do. I had no idea what it was, whether it was a feature or, you know, a cereal box. I had no idea. And so I go and I meet Jon at his office, and he invites me into this room that is basically, you know, corner to corner, covered in story illustrations of this project that he's working on. And there are all of these incredible images of a Mandalorian character.
I think it's basically Jon Favreau's vision that guides the whole thing. And it's very, very pleasant to work on a set where everybody is focused and calm. Never a loud word. I've never heard a loud word. That's beautiful.
Since there's real things on the set, we have real cameras and real people. The sets are bigger than they were on Jungle Book, but it's essentially the same formula. And now instead of having a green screen that you have to move around in light, which took forever, and that was really the frustration that led to these innovations, which was how could we do that without green screens next time? And so that led to, you have a green stage, you have pre-lit green areas that you could expose, and then it turned into these video walls where you could have green just behind the actor, and then interactive light, which we used on Jungle Book also for shadows and things on the characters, which we were inspired by, like Gravity, where they had all those video panels. So it's like we took all the technology that I've been messing around with from all those other projects and applying it to a very specific application that would work for this.
This new technology brings filmmaking back where it has been and where it should be. You can pick up a camera on your shoulder and do some sort of a choreography between your actors, and the parallaxes of the background will be organized. You see the set, and the actors see the set, and they sense it and they feel it. And this is fantastic. Filmmaking back where it should be.
I think episode 3 at its core is essentially a Western. It's a cross between a Western and a samurai movie. And when I very first came in and I got the script, that was my first thought, and that's been a very strong reference that Jon's given us throughout the show.
Much of the Star Wars projects is that, yes, there is the Western. It is from the West, as we know it, that particular type of storytelling. But there's also, again, in all of this, there's this very Eastern kind of brushstroke or brushstrokes that go on. So, you know, there is this kind of the Buddha looking for enlightenment and searching and searching and searching, and finally settling under the tree and realizing that the search wasn't out there, the search was in here.
The Mandalorian, whose name is Din Djarin, is your iconically cool, flawed, mysterious loner gunslinger that harkens to the, you know, best of the samurai movies and the westerns. And he's very samurai Clint and me.
Mandalorian, it's interesting. I mean, we all know the helmet, but the helmet is Boba Fett. And that was a big challenge in the beginning of this. And John and I went round and round like, well, how do we tell the story? And it's not Boba Fett, or is it Boba Fett? And we would talk about that, and, you know, but a helmet at the end of the day is a helmet.
We wouldn't be able to do this show without Dave Filoni. I think he is the truest lover of the material. We can all try to compete to his level of love, is just the best word for it, for the world of Star Wars. And we would all lose against him.
Any thoughts, ideas, questions, bemusements, whatever it is that you have, you know, he really will engage.
I never felt that Star Wars is something that was mine. I think Star Wars is such a part of people's lives, and it's something that they just see now on a regular basis, that when you say George Lucas and he created it, I don't think people give enough full value to what that means. I worked with him, so I've seen him create it. I felt privileged to be a part of telling the story. I felt grateful that I got to do it with George.